to avoid all that, to avoid all the uncertainty around those types of days. And it's a Monday. So that's also kind of like what I'm trying to remind you of. Because it's Monday, um, I I've had a lot of folks around the internet kind of like spread misinformation because they'll say ICT never trades on Mondays. And that's not true. I have a lot of rules around Mondays because Monday is like amateur hour. It's generally where everybody comes out there out the gate and they want to do something because they've been sitting on their hands the entirety of the weekend, and they get some kind of trade idea, or they talk to people online in chat rooms or on whatever medium they're using, and they get all hopped up on goofballs thinking that somebody has better insight than they do. And what happens if they're right and you don't trade like they do? So you end up building this sentiment idea. So that's why I'm a little leery on trading right out the gate on Mondays, because everybody out there that doesn't know how to trade, doesn't know how the markets work, they don't understand the underlying mechanics of what makes these price engines move. They're basing their assumptions and their actions on a hope and a whim and a prayer. And those three things generally don't bode well for profitable, consistent trading. So on Mondays, this is where you write this stuff down, folks. Every Monday of non-farm payroll week, that means usually the first week of every month. And yes, I'm aware that we're still in October, but I'm reminding you of these rules, okay? So on non-farm payroll weeks, I am absolutely every Monday of that week, I'm trading that because that's where the cleanest price action is going to be. On Monday and Tuesday of that week of non-farm payroll, so whenever there's an economic news driver that has NFP or non-farm payroll Friday, I want to be done trading by Wednesday morning AM session. And then, unless something extremely overbearing in terms of obvious, will I trade on Thursday or non-farm payroll Friday? I have done it, but I just generally like to do all my work on the Monday and Tuesday. And at worst case scenario, if I'm up and I'm not, if I'm not sleeping, I'll do something in the London session. But predominantly, I'm trading on the Monday session of that week, and I'm content with whatever I earn there. And I don't do anything on Tuesday. I don't do anything on Wednesday if I made money on Monday of non-farm payroll. Every other week, every single week, apart from non-farm payroll, I am testing to see if there's certain things in the works. First and foremost is, what does the economic calendar say? Because if the economic calendar is devoid of any kind of high impact or medium impact news driver at 8:30 or after the opening bell at 9:30 or so, then I know that I want to be trading on the pre-market session. That means 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time up to the 9:30 opening bell. But I don't want to be in at 9:30 or afterwards because, listen to the rule now, it's not non-farm payroll Friday. It is a Monday. There is an absence of medium or high impact news drivers on the economic calendar. So you have so many things complicating the battlefield, if you will, at 9:30 for everyone else out there that's not really equipped to be trading. There's a lot of people out there that are pantomiming like they have an understanding of the marketplace, but they're not really aware what it is they're doing. And they're losing money behind the scenes, or they're just completely lost. For me, I want to think about it professionally and think that I know that they're going to punish the less informed individuals at 9:30. They're going to do that. It doesn't mean that you can't determine where the market's going to draw to. Okay, so just make sure you honor make sure you are aware that I have made that very clear here. I'm not suggesting by any means that you can't trade on a Monday like this. I'm not suggesting that at all. But because I'm acting in the role as a mentor, as an educator, I'm being responsible as that educator to speak to the newest form of students that's coming to my work. This is all rehash for people that's been with me for a long time. And it's unfortunate because they have to hear that, because I have always a new round of new students coming in. I almost said employees, but a new round of students coming in all the time. So I want to take advantage of the opportunity anytime I talk about these types of things like trading on Monday, There is a lot of misinformation out there that says that I don't, and I teach not to trade on Mondays. I teach very specific rules so that way you, as a student of mine, would know very clear that this is a Monday that I would or would not be trading. And if I'm not seeing an economic news driver, that means some kind of report at 8:30 or during the 9:30 to 8, I'm sorry, 9:30 to 10:30 portion of the morning session, then I'm not going to trade the AM opening session. I'm going to trade ahead of the opening bell. And that to me is one of the best things I ever learned how to do and condition myself with discipline. Say, okay, I have this rule. I have a rule that says if these conditions are met, it's a Monday, there's no economic data coming out, then I know that I'm going to get punished with harder delivery and price. That means it's going to be high resistance. It does not mean that we will not see our objectives traded to. Because if you look on Twitter this morning, or X, I showed you a live trade with real money in a real regulated broker, hitting my target. That was my pre-market session short. That's all I cared about doing. I didn't care about going long. I didn't care about getting short after 9:30. I didn't care about silver bullets. I didn't care about optimal trade entries, model 2022s. I didn't worry about none of that stuff. I went in, got some bread, and I left. And I did things on my own personal schedule that required my attention elsewhere. So you can clearly see that in that chart and what I annotated in that post this morning on X, that my interest was in the clustering of previous week. And admittedly, at the time of the recording, I only toggled over to that chart so that way you would see some annotations, but my executions are basically based on a blank chart.